Welcome to the deep dive. Today, folks, we are really strapping in. It looks like it could be, I don't know, maybe most destabilizing week Port Charles has seen in ages.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a whole stack of sources here, and they map out this immediate, really high-pressure setup. We're talking September 24th through the 26th.
Right, and that leads directly into this week of just, well, monumental conflict. September 29th through October 3rd specifically.
It really is classic Port Charles, isn't it? Where personal tragedy just unlocks these huge criminal investigations and massive legal battles.
So our mission today, it's pretty specific, right?
Yeah, we're going to dissect the total collapse of the Quartermain family structure. I mean, it's facing attacks from inside and outside simultaneously.
Wow.
And we're also going to get you ready for the fallout from a secret that's, 7 years old?
Yeah.
All thanks to a pretty jaw-dropping resurrection.
Okay, a resurrection. And as if, a full-blown inheritance war wasn't enough drama lurking in the background, we've got the implosion of the Ashford-Robinson marriage. And that's all tangled up with two separate criminal investigations, the shooting of Drew Kane and the murder of that judge. It's forcing people to reveal some, let's say, compromising alibis.
Everything feels connected. But the common thread, I think, is that people are just hitting new moral lows. It's kind of startling.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Where should we start? Maybe with the immediate context. Grief, funerals, and the sudden realization that the grieving have to immediately start fighting.
Yeah, that sounds right. Let's start there. So these initial days, September 24th to 26th, they're really dominated by two things. The search for Tracy Quartermain and, of course, the preparations for Monica's funeral.
Right. And we kick off with Ned and Brooklyn Quartermain, BLQ, as everyone calls her. They're on a private jet. And BLQ isn't just, enjoying the flight. The sources say she is, quote, officially braced. Like, she's expecting a serious, probably difficult conversation with Ned.
Yeah, and our info suggests they're flying out to track down Tracy because apparently she took some kind of major risk that same day, Wednesday, and that's why she's missing.
It's just, wow, the sheer volume of Quartermain drama. They can't even properly mourn the passing of a legend like Monica without one of their key players going MIA.
Exactly. And that absence is really important because Monica's funeral is the event of the week. It's set for Thursday, September 25th.
Big deal.
Huge. It's promised to be this massive, very emotional Port Charles gathering, designed to honor Leslie Charleston's legacy and decades of playing Monica. If Tracy's not there, well, the whole family just feels incomplete, vulnerable even.
Okay, but before we actually get to the funeral itself, let's maybe pause on another source of, immense emotional distress happening around the same time, the whole situation with young James West.
Oh, absolutely. The complexity that poor kid is facing is just, it's profound.
I mean, think about it. His mom, Maxie Jones, she's in a coma, fighting for her life. And at the exact same time, the father he never even knew, Nathan West, is suddenly back from the dead.
It's an impossible burden for any child, let alone one already dealing with his mom's conditions. And what the sources are showing is that this turmoil, it's really coming out in his relationship with his uncle, Cody Bell.
Yeah, Cody.
James is basically looking for stability, in the one reliable male figure he's known consistently in recent years.
I found that detail about James and Cody really telling. James actually tells Cody that he wishes Cody was his father instead of Nathan.
Wow.
And you just have to think about the weight of that statement. Nathan is this, mythical, idealized hero who's just come back from the grave. But James, he's choosing the known quantity, right? The stable, consistent presence Cody, who the sources affectionately call the stable boy. Yeah, Cody's the foundation for him.
Precisely. And you can imagine how that hits Cody right in the heart, especially as he's trying to figure out his own identity and worth in Port Charles. It sets up this incredibly challenging, really delicate dynamic for Nathan whenever he does eventually leave the hospital. He's not just competing with a known figure like Cody. He's competing with the very idea of reliable, uncomplicated love and presence that Cody represents to James right now.
So Felicia Scorpio's worry here. It's completely justified. This is just trauma layered on top of trauma for that whole family unit.
Totally. Okay, so shifting back to the funeral then, the significance of Monica's passing, it actually pulls an extremely rare visitor back into the Port Charles orbit. Lois Cerullo.
Lois, wow. Rena Sofer returning.
Yeah, it's a short guest arc just for the funeral, but it really underscores how profoundly important Monica's character was. Like the sources point out, Rita Sofer is basically retired from acting now. She moved all the way to New York.
Right.
So for her to come back, it's really a tribute to Leslie Charleston and her decades on the show.
That detail, like, it's a brilliant shorthand for the audience, isn't it? It's not just a plot point. It's a moment of real respect for the show's history. It kind of suggests Monica really was the true matriarch, even if she was sometimes embattled, holding that core Quartermain family together.
Well said. But as we know, this is Port Charles. No memorial ever goes off without some kind of dramatic entrance.
Oh, never. So what happens?
True to form, the memorial gets hit with this seismic disruption. Friday, September 26th, an unexpected visitor shows up and immediately starts shaking things up.
Okay, and here's where the plot instantly thickens, I bet. This visitor, it's confirmed to be someone named Ronnie.
Ronnie, yes. And Tracy Quartermain, who's already on edge from the funeral and just getting back herself, she runs into Ronnie in, of all places, the Quartermain family crypt.
The crypt. Seriously.
Seriously. And Tracy confronts her, demands to know exactly who she is.
And let me guess. Ronnie drops a bombshell.
The bombshell that defines the whole upcoming week. She reveals she is Monica's long-lost sister.
Whoa, hold on. Monica's sister. But wait, we need to apply some history here, based on our sources. Monica was adopted, right? By Gail Baldwin.
Correct.
And the sources are clear. Absolutely nothing is known about Monica's biological family or her origins. So, how?
That's the million-dollar question. If Monica was adopted and we know nothing about her bio family, how can Ronnie just appear and claim to be her sister? Does this imply something was wrong with the adoption? Or maybe Gail Baldwin actively hid the fact that Monica had a biological sibling?
Because that's not just a surprise visitor popping in. That feels like a direct threat to the entire Quartermain identity. It suggests Monica wasn't the sole inheritor of whatever might have come from her birth family.
That is the exact question the whole plot is hinging on right now.
Yeah.
Ronnie's appearance, yeah, it's suspicious. But her claims suggest there might be some pre-existing legal tie, or maybe a family connection, that even Monica herself didn't know about, or maybe deliberately concealed. This immediately shifts the emotional turmoil of the funeral straight into the realm of high-stakes legal warfare. Because let's be real, Ronnie isn't showing up for hugs and condolences.
No, she wants something.
She's there for the money. And that leads us right into the massive inheritance battle that's about to explode. #tag #2. The Quartermain Inheritance War and Drew's Low Blows, week of Sep 29.
Okay, so we go straight from a funeral into basically a full-scale legal war, and it's being fought on two fronts. The first front, honestly, feels like the most morally disgusting one. The actions of Drew Kane, who's still laid up in the hospital recovering from a gunshot wound.
Right. It's kind of shocking. Jordan Ashford actually had this moment of clarity with him, Told Drew that Monica's death should inspire him to be a better man.
And what does he do?
It's fascinating, actually. Drew seems to have heard that advice and just done the absolute opposite. He is determined, even from his hospital bed, to get a slice of the Quartermain pie.
Okay, but let's try to analyze his motivation here, because this feels like a massive shift for his character. Why is a guy recovering from being shot suddenly pivoting to, grand larceny and framing family members? He must be desperate.
He's definitely desperate. I mean, think about it. Drew just got out of prison. He's lost relationships, maybe his reputation, and now he sees Monica's death as his last best shot to grab both wealth and, maybe even more importantly for him, some kind of legitimacy within that powerful family structure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The sources are pretty explicit that his behavior is escalating. They say he's about to do much worse. This looks like pure moral corruption, just driven by greed and maybe a lot of resentment.
Before we get into the framing part, what about the legal reality? Does he even have a claim?
Well, that's the thing Drew seems to be completely ignoring. Legally, he's not an heir to the Quartermain estate, not through traditional bloodlines, not through a recent marriage to a Quartermain.
So
unless Monica went through this highly unusual process of retroactively adopting him as an adult, which seems unlikely, he has no direct claim at all.
Okay, so if he has no direct claim, what exactly are he and his lawyer, Martin Gray, trying to pull? They can't just demand a piece of the pie, can they?
It looks like they're trying one of two things, and both are pretty aggressive. One possibility. They could be challenging the existing will, maybe claiming there was some kind of procedural error, aiming for a small settlement, maybe a piece of the estate, just to make them go away and not tie everything up in court for years.
That's one way. What's the other?
The second way, and this feels much more likely given how desperate Drew seems, is that he might claim Monica had expressed intent for him to inherit something, even if she never got around to updating her legal documents before she died.
Ah, the intent argument.
Messy.
Super messy. It's a really aggressive legal tactic, basically designed to exploit the family's grief and vulnerability right now.
But it's the second part of his scheme that really cements his plunge into full-on villainy. The plan to frame Michael Corinthos. Yes. This is where it gets really dark. Drew is actively working with Martin Gray to frame Michael for the judge's murder.
Wow.
This is calculated, deliberate sabotage. He's trying to eliminate a much more established, much more powerful potential heir. Think about it. If Michael gets indicted for murder, Drew suddenly has way less internal competition for whatever he's trying to grab.
And Michael's defense is already on shaky ground, isn't it? His whole alibi for the time the judge was killed, it rests entirely on one person, Jacinda Bracken.
Exactly. A single, potentially vulnerable point of failure.
And here's where Drew gets really, really scummy, according to the sources.
This is the truly nefarious detail. Drew is actually considering using his own money and resources to pay Jacinda off. Pay her to recant her statement saying she was with Michael and then skip town.
Oh my God.
If she disappears or changes her story, Michael's alibi just collapses. Poof. So Drew isn't just trying to steal money here. He's actively trying to send his own family member, well, step-family member, sort of to prison for murder.
Yeah.
Purely out of self-interest. It's betrayal on a whole new level.
Okay, so while Drew is stirring up all this internal treachery, the entire Quartermain structure is also facing that external attack we talked about. Ronnie's claim on the estate.
Right. Ronnie, the mystery biological sister, she's not messing around. She's going to insist that the Quartermain mansion, the entire estate, is legally hers.
This takes the fight from just Drew wanting a slice to a battle for the whole foundation of the family, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It changes the game completely.
Now, we need to put Ronnie's claim into context. You mentioned Martin Gray found a letter she'd written before Monica died.
Yes, that's crucial. Martin apparently found this letter from Ronnie. He intended to talk to Monica about it, but sadly, she passed away before he got the chance.
So what was in that letter, and why didn't Monica ever deal with it? Does the letter somehow legitimize Ronnie's claim?
The existence of that letter is key. If Ronnie's claim is tied to her being Monica's biological sister, the letter likely confirms that relationship. And maybe, just maybe, it contains some kind of promise, or perhaps a pre-adoption agreement stating that Monica's share of their biological family's wealth, or maybe even the Quartermain estate itself, somehow should actually pass to Ronnie.
But hang on, Monica was adopted by Gail Baldwin. How does that work legally? Does blood trump adoption in this kind of situation? Or is Ronnie claiming ownership based on something from the biological family side? Like maybe they owned property or wealth that somehow got mixed up with the Quartermain estate when Monica married Alan.
That is the deep, complicated legal crux of this whole thing. Monica's relationship with the Quartermains was defined by her marriage to Alan and decades of integration into that family, not by birthright.
Right.
If Ronnie manages to succeed, she'd essentially be arguing that her biological claim may be rooted in some agreement made before Monica even became Gail's daughter, should supersede all those decades of legal and familial connection Monica established with the Quartermains.
That's why it's so destabilizing. It calls into question the very identity of Monica Quartermain herself.
Exactly.
Well, thank goodness Tracy Quartermain is back and seems ready for a fight, because she is definitely not going to stand for this legal mess.
No way. Tracy, for all her ruthlessness, understands lineage and defending the family name. The sources confirm she will go head-to-head with Ronnie, fighting like crazy, they say, to keep the estate in established Quartermain hands.
And interestingly, the sources say she specifically wants it to end up preferably in Michael's hands.
Yeah, that's a really interesting pivot for Tracy, isn't it?
It is. She's actively defending Michael, the son of her arch-rival Carly, against both this outsider Ronnie and, ironically, against Drew, who she often treated like family, sort of.
It shows that when faced with a true external threat, Tracy quickly redraws the lines. She decides who belongs and who doesn't. And Drew, by trying to frame Michael, he's basically proving he doesn't belong anymore, maybe even less than the complete stranger Ronnie does.
Right. Tracy must know that if Michael goes to prison and Ronnie somehow wins her biological claim, the Quartermain family completely loses control of everything.
She's playing the long game here, prioritizing the stability of the Quartermain name over her old personal rivalries. It's classic Tracy, in a way.
Okay, so while this huge inheritance war is raging, the PCPD is still busy trying to figure out two major crimes. Who shot Drew and who murdered the judge. And these investigations are about to become a massive relationship wrecking ball, specifically hitting Portia Robinson and Curtis Ashford hard.
Yeah, the investigations are colliding in just the worst possible way for them. First off, Portia Robinson herself lands squarely on the PCPD's radar as a suspect in Drew's shooting.
And her motive is pretty strong, right? Didn't she drug him previously?
She did. She drugged him, targeted him when she felt threatened by him. So, yeah, the motive is there. She's demonstrated intent and willingness to go after him before.
So if the police start leaning on her, asking tough questions, she's going to need an alibi. And this is where the marriage just completely explodes, isn't it?
This is it. The moment of truth they've been kind of dancing around. If questioned, she has to list Dr. Isaiah Gannon as her alibi.
Dr. Gannon, her lover.
Exactly. And the sources are very blunt about it.
Yeah.
We know what they were doing. They were together because they were having an affair. Giving her that alibi means revealing the affair to Curtis.
Okay, so the sources suggest their marriage has already imploded, but we need to clarify the timeline here. What was the initial trigger for the breakdown?
Right. The initial breakdown started because Curtis used his ex-wife, Jordan Ashford, as his alibi for the time of the shooting.
Okay.
And Portia, understandably maybe, immediately jumped to the worst conclusion that Curtis was cheating on her romantically with Jordan.
But he wasn't, was he? It was a lie, but for professional reasons, to protect himself from suspicion.
Exactly. It was a lie, yes, but one based on professional necessity, not romance.
Yeah.
It still damaged the marriage emotionally, obviously, because it was a lie. But now...
Now the hypocrisy is just staggering.
Right. Here's the core conflict, the moral comparison. Curtis used his professional ex-wife, Jordan, as an alibi to protect himself legally, even though it hurt his marriage emotionally. Now, Portia has to reveal she used her actual romantic lover, Isaiah, as her alibi to protect herself legally. And in doing so, she concerns the very infidelity that Curtis only imagined about him and Jordan.
Wow. Curtis was innocent of cheating, though maybe unwise in how he handled the alibi. Portia was guilty of cheating and now has to expose that guilt just to save herself from potentially being accused in Drew's shooting.
The trust is just gone, completely shattered. Marshall Ashford, Curtis's father, even talks to Curtis about the possibility of Portia actually being guilty in the shooting. That shows how quickly suspicion is setting in, how little trust is left between them.
So what happens when Curtis finds out the truth about Portia and Isaiah?
The sources predict that Curtis, when he learns the truth, might just call her a hypocrite. I mean, he went through all that difficulty using Jordan, trying to maintain his own moral high ground in his mind, only to find out Portia was actively cheating behind his back the whole time, and now has to use her lover as her only defense.
Yeah, that would destroy any foundation left in that marriage.
Absolutely.
And this reveal, it also throws a wrench into her professional life, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it does the opposite. Maybe it pushes her right back into Isaiah's arms. There's something about Portia talking to someone at the hospital saying she's reconsidered something.
Yeah, that reconsidered line is sparking a lot of speculation in the sources.
What could it be?
Well, it could be something simple, like a job offer. Maybe Britt Westbourne is setting up some new venture and needs Portia's expertise. That's one possibility.
Right, plausible. But knowing Soaps.
Knowing Soaps, the speculation within the source commentary is way more dynamic. They suggest that now that the affair is exposed, the secret's out, the marriage is effectively dead. She might actually reconsider her relationship with Isaiah and lean into it.
You mean the quote about how she might just hop right back in the back of the bed with him because he is a cutie patootie?
That's the one. It's such a great piece of classic soap commentary, isn't it?
It really is.
It suggests that, hey, once the secret's out and the marriage is officially toast, maybe the path of least resistance, or maybe the path of greatest attraction for her is just to embrace the affair openly. Why not?
So the police investigation hasn't just damaged the relationship. It's fundamentally changed the options for both Curtis and Portia.
Exactly. Curtis is left reeling from this massive betrayal. And Portia, she's suddenly freed from the burden of carrying that secret. Potentially free now to pursue the relationship with the guy who ended up being her only alibi. The potential criminal consequences almost seem secondary to the romantic devastation here. Hashtag 55E. Nathan West's shocking return and bombshells.
Okay, let's pivot now to the other huge seismic event shaking up Port Charles. The return of Nathan West. This is the moment fans have been waiting years for, isn't it? And the sources are confirming he is back, and he's fully functional.
Fully functional. We saw the setup earlier the week, right? Nina Reeves was talking to him in the hospital room. She called him James, that childhood name she used when she thought he was her long-lost brother.
And he reacted.
He squeezed her hand, then he woke up, opened his eyes, and actually smiled at her. In what looked like genuine recognition, that's crucial. He recognized the name James from their shared, very suppressed history.
Wow, and the sources are confirming he's completely intact mentally.
Completely intact. He knows who he is. He has all his faculties. He remembers things. He's not suffering from amnesia. He's not some kind of zombie. He's Nathan West, fully cognizant, back after 7 years, presumed dead.
This isn't just a resurrection, then. This is potentially the key to unlocking massive, high-level secrets.
Huge secrets. And it's a major shockwave hitting the town, especially for his mother, Liesl Obrecht.
How does she react?
Her reaction is described as absolutely shocked, which strongly suggests she had zero hope, absolutely none that he could possibly still be alive. For Liesl, who's endured so much loss over the years, this is an overwhelming miracle.
Yes, there's always a but with Obrecht.
But it instantly brings the shadow of César Faison looming back over everything.
Okay, we definitely need to give our listeners a quick refresher on that whole dynamic because it's critical to understanding the bombshells Nathan is supposedly about to drop.
Right. So Nathan West is the son of Dr. Lies Obrecht and the notorious, infamous supervillain César Faison.
Faison, the psychopathic master manipulator, responsible for years and years of chaos, controlling the Obrecht family, known for his obsession with Anna Devane, and crucially, his ability to fake deaths and stage these incredibly dramatic disappearances.
Exactly. So Nathan's return strongly implies that Faison, or maybe someone working for Faison, orchestrated his survival and disappearance 7 years ago. Kept him hidden, maybe unconscious, maybe captive. Who knows?
Which leads directly to that central mystery that's been bubbling up lately. Is Britt Westbourne's current boss actually the supposedly dead César Faison?
Britt is Nathan's sister. They share this incredibly complicated, dangerous father. With Nathan back and fully aware, that question is Britt's boss Faison. It's no longer just speculation. It becomes an immediate, urgent plot point.
And we have to think about the sibling dynamic too, right? Britt and Nathan, do they even know the other is alive?
That's a huge question. Given Faison's obsession with control, total control, even if he was the one who orchestrated both their survivals, maybe putting them both in some kind of stasis or keeping them hidden separately, he would likely have kept them apart, unaware of each other's existence. Why? To maximize his leverage over both of them.
That sounds exactly like Faison. So Nathan's secrets, whatever they are, will inevitably connect to Britt's recent past and whoever her mysterious employer really is.
Absolutely. The sources promise Nathan is going to drop some bombshells about where he's been for the last 7 years. This isn't going to be a quick, simple explanation. This sounds like the unveiling of a significant, long-term operation, almost certainly tied to Faison's ongoing activities, even after his supposed death.
So the moment he's awake and coherent, Nathan faces a huge decision. The sources call it the bombshell decision.
Yeah. Who does he talk to first? Does he spill everything, the full truth, to Nina Reeves, the person he just recognized from his childhood? Or does he hold back, wait until he can talk to his mother, Liesl, first?
That decision has massive implications, doesn't it?
Colossal. If he tells Nina everything right away, well, given Nina's current high-profile connections, especially her relationship with Sonny Corinthos, the truth about Faison's potential network, his secrets, everything could spiral out into the Port Charles mainstream immediately. That could put Nathan, Liesl, maybe even Britt, in much greater danger.
Right, expose the whole operation before they're ready.
Exactly. But if he waits and talks to Liesl first, well, they can try to control the narrative. That's the Obrecht way, isn't it? Protect the family, manage the information. Liesl would absolutely prioritize protecting her children and maybe, just maybe, try to leverage this information against Faison somehow, if he is indeed still out there.
So the choice really reflects his immediate priorities. Is it self-preservation and sticking with family loyalty first? Or is it getting the truth out there, exposing this 7-year-old threat as quickly as possible?
Whichever way he chooses, the Faison Obrecht legacy, which we thought was mostly buried, is about to explode back into Port Charles. And it's going to impact everything from Sonny's crime syndicate right down to the staff at General Hospital.
What really stands out to me is the sheer power Nathan holds in this moment. He's like a walking repository of 7 years of missing information about one of the show's biggest villains. And his decision about who to tell first dictates the speed, the direction, maybe even the outcome of the next huge storyline.
Absolutely. His presence alone just fundamentally destabilizes the perceived order of the Port Charles underworld. We all sort of assumed Faison was dealt with, gone for good. Nathan showing up proves that whatever scheme Faison was running, it might still be active. And Nathan was a key piece of it. #outro. So to kind of synthesize the core movements for you listening, What we're really witnessing here is the complete, maybe even utter destabilization of the Quartermaine family. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's coming at them from all sides.
Exactly. They're facing this existential legal threat from Ronnie, the long-lost biological sister, whose claim basically challenges Monica's entire identity and legacy. And at the same time, they're dealing with this brutal internal threat from Drew, who has just sunk to these unbelievable criminal depths, framing Michael for murder just to try and steal a piece of the estate.
It's a mess. And while the family is fighting for its very survival, those criminal investigations are acting like this corrosive acid, just dissolving any remaining trust in the Ashford-Robinson marriage.
Right. And that contrast between Curtis's alibi, innocent of cheating, but maybe risky, using his professional ex, and Portia's alibi, guilty of cheating, using her lover out of necessity, it provides that perfect, delicious soap opera irony. And it might just push her right back towards Isaiah Gannon. Who knows?
Okay, so the biggest revelations this week, the big takeaways.
I think there are 3 huge ones. First, Nathan West is back. He's fully aware, and he holds the key to unlocking 7 years of Hassan Obrecht's secrets. It's massive.
Huge.
Second, Drew Kane has officially tossed his moral compass out the window. He's confirmed he's willing to commit grand sabotage against his own family just to satisfy his greed. He's a full-blown antagonist now.
Yeah, no question. And third,
Tracy Quartermaine. In a surprising twist, maybe, she has actually prioritized the stability of the family legacy over her own personal vendettas this time. She's fighting fiercely against both the internal threat from Drew and the external threat from Ronnie, all to protect the Quartermaine name, especially for Michael.
it really is all high drama, high stakes everywhere you look. Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider. Something to really mull over, diving deep into the legal side of things. Given that Tracy is now fighting to make sure Michael secures the estate, and Ronnie is making this very serious legal claim based on Monica's adoption history and that secret letter Martin found, what is the actual legal precedent here that's going to ultimately decide the Quartermaine legacy?
That's the core question, isn't it?
Yeah. Does the law prioritize the decades-long bond of adoption, the established Quartermaine family line built by Monica and Alan? Or can a newly revealed biological tie, possibly proven by some decades-old suppressed letter, actually overturn an entire inheritance, an entire family structure?
The resolution of that legal battle.
Yeah.
It's not just about money or a mansion. It's going to define who the Quartermaines actually are, potentially for generations to come.
Wow. Lots to think about. Thank you for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.